Kansas State's the place you want to come as a student athlete because you know you're going to get taken care of, and you know, we're top end professionals. That's how we handle ourselves, and that's what the kind of program we want to run here. So I know as a student athlete in my time, if you gave me X amount of dollars, I'm probably going to go and spend it right away. So there's a lot of educational pieces that come along with it too, you know, and we work really hard to sit down and we onboard all of our student athletes, and we really do try and educate them and get them the information they need to be able to go out and not only be good young men and women here while they're at Kansas State, but then prepare them for the world after.
What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty, here with another episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills, where business meets community. I'm here with a very special guest, 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭, with Wildcat NIL. Jace, thank you so much for joining me today, man. Appreciate you jumping in here with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me and coming out here and meeting with me.
Yeah, yeah, of course, man, of course. So let's kind of get into it and tell us obviously the national news, all the NIL, all that big stuff happened, right? So tell us about the history and the formation of Wildcat NIL and where that came from.
Yeah. So Wildcat NIL, we're a group of all former K-State student athletes here. We have Pearson McAtee, he was a basketball player here a few years ago. Ryan Hennington, football player. Myself, 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭 was a football player, and then last but not least, Curry Sexton was also a really big football player. If anybody's a Cats fan out there, you'll know who Curry is. Yeah, so the formation of our organization kind of goes back to a little bit of an origin when NIL first started. Ryan Hennington, who I actually played football with on the football team, had his exit meeting with Coach 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐻 in the 2021 after the 2021 season, so about the Texas Bowl. And Ryan sat down with Coach and he said, "Coach, we need an NIL collective at Kansas State." And Coach 𝐬𝐬𝐿 looked at him in the eyes and said, "You are exactly right. We do need one. Ryan, go figure it out." So Ryan got done, and Ryan was a walk-on. I was a walk-on myself. Pearson was a walk-on all at some point, and we were all blessed, I believe, to earn some kind of a scholarship at some point. So that was something that we really, or Ryan at the time, because he was by himself, sure, found as a passion point. So he wanted to be able to first go out and start helping all athletes on all of our teams across the board, not just football, every sport. And so Ryan started Wildcat NIL from the ground up, and we've been able to help out athletes across every single sport here at K-State, I believe in some capacity, and kind of go from there. So Ryan really started the whole thing, coming with Coach 𝐬𝐬𝐿, and we've just grown since continually.
Yeah. How is your background of being a student athlete? How do you feel like it's been able to help you kind of shape what Wildcat NIL and able to help these student athletes out?
It's a great question. Being able to pull on being a student athlete helps when you are working with student athletes. There's a lot of organizational things that come with being a student athlete and just trying to coordinate things. I look back at my schedule as a football player. I know certain times not to reach out to a student athlete. You also know times not to schedule things. But at the end of the day, you can look at the experiences that you've lived as a student athlete and kind of be able to pull on those things to see where future student athletes might need help. Maybe that is transportation around town. Maybe you need a car. You need to be able to get around. Maybe it's food for somebody who, or money for food for somebody who just needs an extra meal or something. So being able to play on those experiences as an athlete, it really helps you be able to support the student athletes in this role that I'm blessed enough to be able to be in now. With
you guys being the official partner for K-State Athletics, what are your objectives as Wildcat NIL? What are your objectives to helping out?
Yeah, so our biggest objectives is we want to be able to give all of our coaches and staff here at Kansas State the ability to have competitive rosters and be able to compete for championships. As you can see in our past, a couple years ago, we won a football Big 12 championship. We had an Elite 8 run in basketball. Our women's basketball team hosted playoff games this past year. Like all of our sports, we are on the up and up, on the rise. And NIL is a big focus and a big point that's been able to elevate kind of our ability to keep performing at that high level. So that's one of our biggest, I'd say, goals and objectives here at Kansas State through NIL is to continue to raise the bar each year, come in, come out.
Yeah, no, That's awesome. Love that, man. And yeah, so every year we keep having a little bit more competitiveness to it all and everything like that. I love it. So with so many regulations and things within the NCAA and everything there, how does Wildcat NIL help, I'm going to say, navigate and help kind of make sure that the student athletes are protected and taken care of throughout this ever-changing landscape?
There's a couple ways that we make sure to ensure being compliant with all the compliance and litigation going on. Sure. All four of us here at Wildcat NIL, we stay very up to date on all the litigation that comes out. Sometimes daily, weekly, monthly. There's a lot of big news that comes out. So not only is our team staying up to date on all of those updates, but we also work as hand in hand and lockstep with Kansas State as we can be, reaching out to the compliance. A lot of our stuff we get vetted through Kansas State to begin with. So when you do choose to work with us as a business or just signing up for your membership, we have a membership program. There's no need to feel uneasy because we're making sure that we're doing it the right way here at Kansas State.
So in conjunction with all of that stuff that you have here, how do you guys match opportunities, the NIL opportunities here at Wildcat NIL? How do you match student athletes up with potential opportunities? Let's say car dealership wants to work out that way. What's that process look like, and can you walk us through that?
Yeah, that's a great question. We do a couple different ways. We usually work with different businesses here in the Manhattan area and also just kind of the greater community area. The first kind of option is if you are a business owner and you have some inquiry on wanting to reach out to us, maybe use some student athletes, come out, use them as some kind of advertisement, whatever that might be. We have a general email on our website that you can reach out to and email us. And then from there, we'll work with you to try and figure out a business plan, a marketing plan that can work with you. We can figure out the athletes, just what that might be to where you're benefiting not only the athlete, but obviously your business in the grand scheme of things. Then there's also the other way where sometimes we have certain athletes that'll come to us and say, hey, I'm looking for, like you said, maybe a car deal. And we have some different contacts with different businesses and organizations around the area, and we can work through them to kind of find those different avenues to be able to serve that purpose.
Yeah. Do you, when you're going through that whole process, do you think, okay, this student athlete would be a good fit for this one, or is it more of just a spray and pray kind of approach?
Yes, it can be a little bit of both. It really depends on kind of the business at times on what you want. Yeah. That's another kind of going back to being a student athlete. When I was playing, you kind of learn the personality of some of the guys you've been on the team with, and I think as we all know, there's some student athletes that they'd rather maybe post something opposed to coming in for an interview or what that might be or what that looks like. But we'll tend to reach out to the business, and if you want to have athlete X do something that they might not be comfortable with, they don't feel as comfortable with, we work with the businesses both ways. Same with the student athletes. But we do try and pair student athletes with the businesses and the organizations that we think that they would pair with and work with the most. We also do some kind of, I don't want to say vetting, but we'll work with the athletes when they get onboarded, and they can kind of give us a range of different things or likes or hobbies that they might have. We have some guys that love fishing and hunting. So if we have a group in the area that wants to work with certain athletes, we kind of have a list of athletes that we know that have a passion for that and would be willing to want and promote those things. So just another way that we kind of do our due diligence to where we can give business owners the best return that they can have. It's no good going out and doing an advertisement with someone who doesn't really care about the product or want to do something. Sure. We like to ensure, not that student athletes wouldn't come out and do that, but we want to ensure that there's a good pull so we can get a good end product.
Yeah. So what does that process look like then for the student athletes? Let's say that, because obviously you don't want somebody who's a PETA advocate, you don't want them going out and in the hunting ad. So, but seriously, so what does that process look like? Do you have student athletes funneling through here and interviewing and going through that way, kind of compiling that list, or what does that kind of look like? And then vice versa for the businesses as well. Do they reach out to you? Are you reaching out to them? Is it both? What does that look like?
Yeah, we have a little bit of both. As you said, we'll have businesses reach out to us, and then we also do some reaching out to different organizations and businesses in the area. What that kind of looks like is we'll work with the business to begin with and try and get a nice, robust marketing plan to where we can come to agreement on, do you want in-person meetings? Do you want posts? Would you like a commercial filmed? And so we'll sit down, we'll have meetings with the Wildcat NIL staff and then the staff of the business. And then from there, there's kind of one or two ways that businesses like to kind of choose to go. Is I want athlete X, and then I'll figure out how to pay for it, or I'll, whatever that is. Yeah. And it's kind of a sliding scale, depending. Everybody knows athletes, but I want to work with athlete X, or I want a category or a certain group. You could go basketball. If you're a business and you want to work with just the centers on the basketball team, or just the point guards, or just the defensive backs on the football team. And we've also had some groups that choose to work with regional specific student athletes. If you're a Manhattan community business, you might want to work with some Manhattan grads that we have across all of our sports teams here at Kansas State. So there's a couple different ways that we go about doing that and kind of vet through that process. And then from that point, once we come to an agreement with the business and we can kind of finalize a program, we then clear it with our student athletes to make sure if it is an in-person appearance, we don't want to make sure that they don't have practice that day when you're trying to make them come. So, of course, sport comes before everything else. So we then work with student athletes where we can coordinate things with the business and ensure that all the tangible things are met. And then there's also where both sides are feeling that the services are performed adequately to each side's liking.
Yeah. Which actually is a good segue too. So my next question would be more of like, how do you ensure that those sides, whether it be business or student athlete, are meeting those requirements, if you will, or the effective pieces of their contract?
Yeah. So that's exactly right. It's a contract. So we do have contracts that we will work between the student athletes and the businesses and through Wildcat NIL. So that's a great reason why to work directly, with or come to Wildcat NIL is we work as that middleman liaison to where we can ensure that the services are being performed, they're being performed to the business's liking, and just things are performed the correct way and they're getting done. Kind of losing some of that middleman at times can be difficult for businesses. We've heard kind of in the past, just from other experiences, and so that's one thing we pride ourselves on is we ensure that those services are performed into an adequate style.
Yeah. Well, and like you said the whole time, I mean, you have that background, right?
Yeah.
You've been on both sides of the fence now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I love that. You obviously have, the simple, I say simple, but the traditional way of getting involved with Wildcat NIL of businesses and having people help support, having the student athletes promote the other businesses. But what I want to talk to you about is something we just talked about off camera here is, as the general member of the public, I'm just a Wildcat fan. I want to be involved with Wildcat NIL, get information, get whatever that looks like. I know you guys have that general membership. What does that look like? What different levels of membership is that? And then what do you get at each of those levels?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have our general membership here at Wildcat NIL, and if you go to our website, 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭, you can go and you can join at varying levels. I believe starting at little as $10 a month, all the way up to we have our Cats by 90, which is $90 a month. And with that it's a varying different levels of things that come with that. So I believe when you get to the $25 a month, we have different apparel that we send out, but just to the general anybody who's a member, you gain access to member-only events. This year we did a tailgate at every home football game. 2 hours before the game, you could come. It was free drinks, free food. All you had to be was a member to be able to partake and benefit from that asset. We also then have newsletters that go out. So during the recruiting season, it's really great because as we find out information and we're able to discuss it, we put that out and we send news blasts out to all of our members. And sometimes that's kind of before some other people kind of know about those things. So it's really great. We also have different giveaways. We've given away tickets to basketball games, men's basketball games, women's basketball games, just different events, volleyball games, and all those perks kind of come with that general membership. And again, you're eligible for all of those. I believe at $10 a month at the smallest one. And if you go on the site, you can see some different ones that change. I believe you might get a koozie. You might be able to get some mugs and some different things, some T-shirts, some hats at different levels as you go up. But as the general membership, we do a lot that you can benefit from as just being a member for $10 a month, as little as that.
Nice. Wow, I love that. So, and we also talked a little bit too about you guys have the golf tournament that you have. Mm-hmm. So that event, let's explain a little bit about what that is. And then number two, are there any other additional events that you guys do throughout the year as well?
Yeah, we're working to expand on some different events right now throughout the year. But right now, the For the Cats Classic is a really big event that we do up at Colbert Hills. Great tournament that all goes to benefit all of our student athletes here at Kansas State. I believe we target it mostly towards the basketball team. They come out. Coach Tang comes out. We get Willie out there. It's a great time. It's a great event, all for a great cause. And then that's, again, just another great way that we're trying to help out just another business and group here in Manhattan, but then also our student athletes here at Kansas State.
Yeah, no, I love that. Supporting them for NIL, name, image, likeness. I like that. Exactly. NIL in general is obviously a fairly new thing. So, but ever since Wildcat NIL's inception, what measurable impacts have you been able to really do and give for the student athletes here at K-State?
Yeah. So as my role as a director of operations, I'm kind of in charge of putting on different events that we've done. And I can say in my time, we've had a great impact. And with NIL, another focus at Wildcat that we want to be able to put out there is we want to be able to serve our community. This Manhattan community is what gives and allows for our student athletes to go out there and have somebody cheering them on Saturdays, on Sundays, Tuesday, whatever it is, when sporting events are going on. So what we've been able to do in my time, or in our time as inception here at Wildcat NIL, we've done multiple food drives. A couple months ago, we did a food drive for the Flint Hills Bread Basket. We raised, I believe, over 4,200 pounds of food, and it was a great event. All that went to them and helped to feed some of the individuals here in our community. Also, we did Shop with a Cat last month in December. We had our student athletes promote a GoFundMe, essentially, to where we could help out some different families at the Boys and Girls Club, and they actually got to go to Walmart and shop with our student athletes and get some Christmas presents, just really nice things, and go out. Yeah, it was a great event. Raised a few $1,000s for that event, and it was really great. So we're not only just doing things for our student athletes, but our student athletes are coming out to serve the community and trying to get our faces out there as much as possible. Looking at Dillon's, Hy-Vee, just all those great supermarkets here in our area. We've done multiple food drives for both. So
yeah. That's awesome. Since Wildcat NIL started, right? This is all since it started. K-State has we just talked about 300 to 400 student athletes total across every sport: basketball, volleyball, football, everything, track, everything. How many student athletes are you guys helping out today? Like in this year, this school year, how many student athletes are you guys helping out currently?
Yeah, we have roughly about half. So we have around 200 student athletes on some form of contract right now, which is huge. And if you look at it from Wildcat NIL's very, very beginnings, it all started with Ryan, and I think it was maybe 4 football student athletes that we were helping out. To this now, it's crazy the amount that we've grown, and all from the support of our members, just donors, just businesses, all in the area that have come together to help support all of our programs here at Kansas State. It's been really, really special to see. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So then, since your guys' inception with Wildcat NIL, how many student athletes have you guys been able to help over the last 3, 4, 5 years now?
Yeah, it was a slow and gradual process. Like I said, I just got on with Wildcat NIL. It had been last year. So I know in my time, around 175, 200, maybe 300. I'd say probably in total around about 400 student athletes. Wildcat NIL has been able to help and do some sort of interaction with, to where we've been able to help them out in the NIL space. So it's a big impact. It might not sound like it is as much as some, with 400 student athletes, but that's a lot within this amount of time, and it's been very, very, very special to see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, really, the number might not seem big, but I mean, you're 50% of the student athletes. Like that number in itself is fantastic. I mean, that you've been able to really help out and kind of get. I mean, it's a huge thing, right? I mean, you know this better than I do, but I mean, your expectation as a student athlete is get in there, get your work in, get your school done, get your workout in, get your, you got to learn the plays, you got to learn this, you got to learn everything else that comes with that, and you're expected to get $0 for that. Yeah. in the quote unquote old days.
Yes.
So now you guys are able to kind of be that advocate for them. And I think that's a fantastic opportunity that you are able to have and present. And I love that. So yeah, the number is small, but 50% of the student athletes here, you guys are able to help. So that's a fantastic opportunity.
And then also with that, all of our student athletes, we provide a lot of resources for them as well. We work with them with hooking them up with groups in the Manhattan area for financial advising, just life in general, to invest, taxes, little things like this that when you're an athlete or whoever you are and you just get money thrown your way, man, you're not even thinking about that. I know as a student athlete in my time, if you gave me X amount of dollars, I'm probably going to go and spend it right away. So there's a lot of educational pieces that come along with it too, and we work really hard to sit down and we onboard all of our student athletes, and we really do try and educate them and get them the information they need to be able to go out and not only be good young men and women here while they're at Kansas State, but then prepare them for the world after. When you actually have to go out and get a big boy job, big girl job, it's a different realm. I've experienced it here within the last 12 months personally. But it's a transition that we take a lot of pride in. We're not just going to kind of turn people loose, but we're going to help them, grab their, bring them along and kind of educate them throughout the way. Yeah.
No, I love that. Giving them the education of life.
Yeah, it's crazy. You look back at it and people would joke, you just need one of those basic classes, just a life class. I need a course they can teach in college, or you just kind of get all the pertinent things that when you're not in college anymore, there's some different responsibilities and roles that you have to fill.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Learn of hard knocks, or hopefully you can take someone else's mistakes and learn from those. So
lessen the blow a little bit. Yes.
Yeah. So Jace, with your guys' onboarding process, when they come on, they join you guys in helping out with the NIL stuff and everything there. Talk us through that onboarding process and what that looks like for them. Being connected to your network of people, to kind of having an advisory club, if you will, advisory council for them, and what that looks like.
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the benefits kind of to our business membership is you kind of put yourself in your wheelhouse of us being able to connect our student athletes with you and your business. So we work with different businesses here in the Manhattan area for different things, whether that's financial advising, if it's trying to find a vehicle. We pride ourselves here at Wildcat NIL as being that all-in-one resource for our student athletes, to where if they have a question on, hey, how do I do my taxes, or where should I go to buy a car, what should I invest in, they can ask us that question, and we might not have the answer. We might not be able to figure it out, but we're going to be able to support them and point them in the right direction. And a lot of times that's the people that we've been able to work with and we kind of foster those relationships with. So that onboarding process is something where we do a lot of education. We let the student athletes know that we're that resource for them, but then just kind of introduce them to some things they might not even know about. Something like you might have to go out and pay taxes you're going to have to do some of these things, plan for this stuff. If you're going out and buying a car, do you finance that? Should you buy it right away? Now, we can't advise them on what to do or whatnot, but just kind of opening their eyes to some of these things, because again, like I said, as a student athlete, you think everything's like going to the grocery store. You just go and buy it. Buying a car is a little rough sometimes. You might not just have that cash floating around, whatever that might be. So, we work with the student athletes, and we're kind of that all one-stop shop for them when they need anything kind of going on.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Love that you guys being a support system for them, because again, sometimes they don't have that. And sometimes they don't have the ability or the wherewithal to go ask for that help either. I think that's a big piece, not just for student athletes, but for anybody, right? I think that's a big piece of that. So I love that. All right, so kind of I've got two last questions here before we kind of wrap it up. But my big one for you is, what does the future of Wildcat NIL look like, and what should we expect to see from you guys?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're around here for the long haul. We want to be able to be that resource for not only the university, our coaches, support staffs, but then also just the community and all of our businesses. NIL it's a changing landscape, and we stay up to date with that. So as those things change, we're going to do the exact same. It's really hard to sit here and pinpoint where that might be in a week from now, a day from now. But it's all trending in a great direction, all good things. So we're here, we're up to date, we're ready for you, and we just want to be the best resource in Manhattan for K-State and for our community and for the people that like to support our Wildcats.
Yeah. And I think a big piece there too is just being a partner in it all. You know, I think being a partner in what we have here with this community and with our businesses and general membership, or general public and everything there, I think being a partner in this, and like I said, this ever-changing landscape. So, which leads me to my next question, and probably one of my favorite pieces of this, of doing these interviews has been, what challenges have you guys encountered, and then how have you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, you find a new challenge. It seems like every day, and a lot of that just it comes from just being thrown into something new each day. The way that we kind of go about that is we work with different groups kind of throughout. We're part of an organization where we can kind of work with different groups at different universities and kind of see maybe what they're doing as well. So even within that support, system that we have for the people in the Manhattan community, greater community, our organization is part of a bigger group that allows to kind of give us some of those insider little tidbits on how are you working here, how are you doing things different areas. So that's been really big for us, is kind of figuring out what's going on in the landscape, what other groups are doing, but then also kind of figuring it out for ourselves. It's one of those things where we've started this group kind of going out on a limb, and that's what we continue to do, and we want to be on the front edge of NIL, to where we're the cutting edge. Kansas State's the place you want to come as a student athlete, because you're going to get taken care of, and we're top end professionals. That's how we handle ourselves, and that's what the kind of program we want to run here. So we just continue to evolve as things come, and staying up to date on litigation's a big thing, but then on top of just the way different teams are doing things. You might see some really new idea that another school's doing, their collective or something. It's like, hey man, if that's drawing some attention, maybe we need to look into that. We're going to find a way to do that. I think we found really creative ways to be able to do that. Our golf tournament, as we mentioned before, the Cats Classic, that's a great example. That's an event that's put on that goes and benefits our student athletes. It's a one-of-a-kind experience that you get to have, Sure. Just kind of, like I said, just staying up to date and really trying to be on the cutting edge of things as developments happen.
Yeah, no, I love that. And like you said, it's ever-changing. I mean, no matter what happens, things are going to happen. We were talking about some new law that's coming out right before we jumped on camera here and everything here. So it's always going to be changing and never going to be... so I love that you guys are trying to stay on top of that. So before we kind of wrap it up here, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I'd say if you're passionate about the Cats, and I know Manhattan and the entire area is. I grew up K-State fan, die hard, played here for all 5 years when I played football here. If you want to support the Cats, I'd say that one of the best ways to do it is through our just general membership. It's great. All of that goes to our players, and it's a great way to support and still be involved and kind of get a return on your investment as well. So if you can, just go and check out our business members or our general membership. Trust me, I don't think you'll regret it. So How does somebody reach out to you guys if they're interested in the membership? Is it website? Mm-hmm. What's the website? What's the email? What's the phone number? All that. So it would be on our website. It's 𝐾atsNIL.com. You can go there, and there's just kind of some drop downs or some general information, and then at the very bottom we have our email. It's contacts@𝐾atsNIL.com, and you shoot an email to that. I'll get that, and I'll go through and I'll respond to anything. And we pride ourselves too on if you're a member and you have even a general question on what's this email, whatever it is, you send an email to us. We're going to respond. We're going to get back to you as soon as possible. So that's a great way to stay involved.
Awesome. Well, Jace, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you jumping on here with me today and let me kind of ask you some questions here. And so, but no, thank you so much for joining me here today. And you guys, thank you so much for watching the video today. I really do appreciate it. As always, if you have any questions or if there's anything that you need, curious about Wildcat NIL or anything along those lines, reach out to these guys. I mean, they've been very great for me to work with as far as just kind of reaching out and get them sit down here today. I'm very responsive, and I love that fact. And honestly, you learn something new too. Like for me, I love the idea that you guys are being that advisory counselor for these young student athletes. And I think that's a fantastic opportunity. And so being able to kind of understand that and understand that as a business owner, where your money goes, where that looks like. And then also for you, what as a general public, what you get from having these general memberships and what that looks like to support your cats. So I think that's a fantastic opportunity, and I love what you guys are doing here, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. So, but as always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please reach out to these guys. Love to have you connect with them. And if you do like this content, go and hit that subscribe button. Go and hit that little bell, just so you get notified of any future videos that come up. And please, 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 if you have anybody who's remotely interested about Wildcat NIL and what they're about and who's the person behind it, Jason, Ryan are great guys. You're going to love meeting them and kind of talking through some stuff with them. So reach out with them, share this video with them so they can understand what's happening here. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. Jace, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.